today, everybody, is the day that we start planting our spring garden. We'll start getting some cold hardy crops in. The warmest crop that we'll be putting in today is lettuce. And I actually, hopefully our lettuce will be all right. Everything else will be fine. But first things first, I need to pull the tarp off that you seen me put on a couple weeks ago. And you get it pulled off, go through and pull any big weeds if I see any, and burn them, and then go from there. So that means today's the day you put your head down and get something done. Whether it's whatever it is, you just got to get it done. So it's actually beautiful right now. This morning when I come out and fed the pigs, it was 28 degrees. Right now it's like 30 something, 36 or 37. Yeah, so getting an early start because I've got a lot to get done. So the first thing you got to do is take the tarp off. It looks pretty clean as far as water goes. Got a couple rocks I put on this end because it did blow off on me once. This fire hose is still froze on this end. Kind of funny, but it is what it is. That should get me past that. The reason I pulled it up on that end, I got stakes in the ground marking my walkways and beds, and I don't want to rip any more holes in my tarp than I already have. I missed one. I could feel it pulling on it. A few weeds, not too many. A couple more dandelions that we didn't get pulled when we set these up a month or so ago. All in all, it looks pretty clean, which is shocking, actually. I never would have thought they would be. Of course, that's only one bed and a half. But there's only just a couple dandelions in this bed right there. There's one right there. Down on this end where the tarp don't cover. Hopefully we're good with dandelions this season. There is a bunch coming up in our driveway. I'll take a weed burner and burn the heads off them before they go to seed. But now we're here. How cold is it when you work in your garden? Cold enough for ice. It's like a sheet of glass. One thing I will say, you don't realize how far out of shape you are. You pull that heavy tarp out of the garden by yourself when there's ice all over the top of it. Yeah. So next thing is I'm going to go through and pull the weeds out. The garden still looks good though, as you can see. It still looks nice and clean. Exactly what all beds we do plant today, but I know the top two is definitely two of them. I'm going to look at my list and see which beds actually need 100% full prep, and then I'm going to get those beds ready, and the rest of it I'm not going to worry about at this point. And inspect the beds from where they were the last time. And pull weeds. And I'll go through one bed at a time. This bed here will get lettuce put in this bed. So I need to go through and pull the weeds out. And as you can see, there is very few weeds. Right here's a weed, dandelion most likely. So I'll just go through and pull out as best I can. There isn't a whole lot in here. As you can see, they're pretty clean beds, which they should be because they was tarped over. There's one. I didn't get none of the root on that one, but there we go. About half the root. It'll probably still come back. There's a bunch of course you can't see them in the camera, I don't think. There's a bunch of weeds right there coming up in a cluster. I don't know what they are, but there's a pile of them right there. One good thing about weeds, they only germinate once. But I'll go through this with a weed burner, and the small weeds like that will burn out. So that bed there is clean, other than them couple there. This in here gets some spinach put in it, and I see no weeds at all in it. So I went through and got all the weeds pulled. The garden looks good. I didn't pull the small baby weeds that I showed you just a second ago. It took me about 5 minutes to go through here and pull all the dandelions and the perennial weeds that I pulled. And most of them I got out pretty good. They when you don't till your soil, let me turn around. When you don't till your soil and you try to do things regeneratively, you can pull some weeds out pretty good. That never even broke the tip, but it pulled right out. And I got not a bunch, but however many of them I pulled out, most of them I did this with. And there's even some smaller ones, like right here. This one here is just a little baby one, as you can see, but it still had that big old root on it. And they pull right out if you don't till. When you till, what you do is you break them apart, then you got more weeds in there, because they'll propagate just from a root cutting. But anyways, next I'm going to take my weed burner and burn the weeds, which will be them little baby weeds that I didn't mess with. It'll burn all of them. And you don't give it a good, you don't destroy the soil when you do this. You just go over it quick and burn the weeds. It doesn't take a whole lot, and I'll show you how to do that. And I just got a cheap little weed burner. I just got a small flame coming out of this. And I'll just go through real fast, just like this right here. And it'll burn all them weeds that has just barely sprouted. It doesn't take a lot. You don't got to scorch the earth. You don't want to scorch the earth because you don't want to kill any of the good friends that are in the soil. Any of the soil life. You just want to burn, just want to syringe, actually, not even burn, just and you don't got to actually see the weed shrivel up either. It'll die just doing this to it. If I see a patch when I'm going through, I will pause just a wee bit and make sure I got them all. But it doesn't take a whole lot. You can watch them, even at this, you can watch them go through and they're gone. I mean, and that's the purpose of the tarp as well. When I put the tarp down, I made sure everything was wet. And I put all well, not all, but I put a fair bit of compost in each bed. Now the wind's starting to pick up. It's going to blow my torch out. So I put compost in, and I broad forked, raked everything out, made everything ready to go, so to speak. Then I watered it, and then I sprayed fish emulsion, and compost extract on the beds. And that was to promote the weeds to germinate. That was the whole reason for doing that, was to get the weeds to germinate. And underneath that tarp, it actually heated the soil up. Even when it was cold out, the soil's fairly warm. Because that tarp's black on one side, white on the other. So that's the purpose of this. Now what I'm doing right now is going through this, and I'm making a stale seed bed. So the only thing that should germinate is what I put in it. There shouldn't be anything else in here on the surface. Now, granted, there's a bunch of weed seeds in these gardens, don't get me wrong, but they're down in. But on the surface, there shouldn't be any other weed seeds left in these beds. And this is pretty heavy duty stuff. I think everybody knows what that is. I'm going to put it in 3 of the beds. This bed here, the first bed I'm putting it in, has lettuce in it. Hopefully that's going to help us keep it cleaner, keep mud from splashing when it rains, and definitely help with weeds. Which lettuce, we don't usually have problems with weeds in the lettuce bed anyways, because we plant them so close together that it kind of snuffs out the weeds. But there's still always weeds. You got to pull it out when you're cleaning it. You got to take it out. And then the next bed's going to have spinach in it, and then there's a bed that's going to have radicchio in it. I'm going to make those 3 beds with the reed fabric, and then the bed with carrots and radishes, and the bed with turnips. Naturally, you can't do that with them, but because you're going to direct seed those, everything else will plant. So I got all the ground cover down that I'm putting down, just 3 rows worth. That row and then top 2. Yeah, for now that's all I'm going to put down. I'll have to rearrange stuff throughout this growing season because these crops won't be in here forever. In fact, the crops that's going in these are pretty quick turnover crops. So right now on my lettuce, we plant 4 rows every 6 inches, give or take. And we do the same with spinach. So these top 2 rows, this row and this row, are both going to be, this is going to be lettuce and this is going to be spinach. So I need to burn me a small hole, and by small I mean a pretty small hole. I don't need a very big hole for the lettuce to go in. And you want to burn it, because if you don't, it's going to fray. So I just use one of these, just a little torch, handheld torch, and I'll just go through and pop the holes in. I'll lay a tape measure down the center, and every 6 inches I'll just pop 4 holes, and I'll move along, and I'll do the same thing on the next bed over, and I'll do the same for it. And then for where the radicchio goes, it won't be burnt the same. It'll be burnt differently, but they'll still be small holes, but they won't be excuse me, they won't be as small or as close together as what these 2 beds will be. I just need to go through and burn my holes, and they won't be very big. They'll be pretty small. And I really only need a hole about that big. And holes are pretty small. Hopefully you can see them there. Yeah, you can see them. So that's really all I need, holes about that big. Some plugs are pretty small, and then you can stick your finger down in there, move the soil out of the way, and shove your plug down in. And that'll be how we plant our lettuce here shortly. So I got all the holes burnt in the 3 rows. I was going to burn the holes in. I got my lettuce out here. I brought it out. It's looking really good and ready to be put in the ground. These are all in plug or in soil blocks. They're not in cell trays, so you should be able to just pull them out of there pretty easily and plant one of them in each hole. It should go pretty easy. These were in here probably longer than they should have been, but they'll be fine. They just come right apart. That there didn't have nothing in that one, so but they look pretty good, look pretty healthy, pretty nice looking. Should be able to just pop them right in. Easy peasy. So my lovely wife just got back from running her errands today. So her and I are going to put our heads down and get something accomplished. I just give them a good mist. Not a good watering, just a good mist. We got lettuce, spinach, kale, and radicchio in. A lot of our radicchio didn't come up. I wanted 50 plants, but I ended up with 30. Pretty bad germination, which is what it is. Sometimes you have good, sometimes you don't. We've never grown it before, so we didn't really know what to expect. So now I'm going to get my seeder ready, and we're going to put in some carrots, radishes, and turnips in this garden. And then this garden will be done for now. Then I'll get my irrigation system put in, which that won't take me too long. And then this garden will be done for now until May, actually, till the end of May. So yeah, we're moving along fairly well. Not as far as I wish we were, but we're doing all right. So I'm going to do about a half a bed of radishes. That's what I got in here right now. And I'm going to start it about right here. You know, I set this thing up, put the right plate in, but I never did see what my depth was. A little bit deep. This is just an earthway cedar. It does pretty good, actually, with a lot of things. The carrots, not so much, but it ain't this that doesn't do the carrots. It's carrots that don't do the carrots. So I want to do 5 rows. So I'm going to do 1 down the middle, 1 down each edge, and then 1 in between them. And it'll actually seed just about as fast as you want it to, because you can see it picking the seed up and dropping them down in. These smaller seeds are sometimes a pain in the butt. Do beans or corn or something like that, it works really good, but for radishes and carrots and stuff like that, it doesn't do as good. It does okay, but it doesn't do as good. You got to almost lean it over like this so the seeds fall into the plate. Radishes are pretty cold hardy. I could have put these in before today, but today seems like the day. The carrots, I could have put them in before now too. Actually, all this stuff I could have planted earlier. But last night it did get down to 28. I was going to say 26, but and tomorrow it's supposed to be up to 80.
What a difference in temperature.
It's ridiculous. And now it's turnip time. So we are officially done with the first planting in this garden for this season. Now I got to give everything a good drinky drink. Water in them seeds. This is turnips. They're just salad turnips. Half Hawkeye and half something. I can't remember what the other kind was.
Arasaki or something.
Sure, easy for you to say. I just want to give them a good drink. And that bed there's all carrots. I would have videoed it too, but we had a customer pull in wanting lettuce. So she turned off the camera, and I just worked with my mouth shut.
Ooh.
Hard to believe, I know. Once I get these watered in good, I'm going to put the sprinkler system in.
You hook the water up, the water pump?
Yeah, this is rainwater. We use all rainwater to water with. We have a well, but I'd rather use rainwater. I don't want to pull out of our well no more than we have to. And we wash our lettuce and stuff with our well water, but we water everything with rainwater. Whether it's the garden or whether it's the greenhouse, everything is watered with rain. Even our pigs and chickens. We collect lots of rainwater. So we'll have to keep these seeds pretty moist for a while until they germinate, especially the carrots. Carrots are a pain in my rear end. But the garden looks pretty good for as wet as this season's been so far. Quite impressed how good everything looks.
Yeah.
Soil-wise and bed-wise. Looks great.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Got a lot of plants in.
We open May 3rd. We will have, that time, we'll have a lot of greens for available. She's been selling greens the last 3 or 4 weeks, probably. Just lettuce, though, nothing else. But we will have spinach and kale and lettuce, radishes, turnips. I don't know that we'll have chard and kale till we open, but it won't be long after that we'll have.
So mark your calendars.
May 3rd. 10 o'clock, I think.
9 to 4.
Close enough. If you're an hour late, it's not a big deal.
Nope.
So I'm not going to show you the sprinkler. I think it's going to wrap this video up. It's going to be a pretty long video, I'm sure. I don't know how long it's going to end up being, but it's going to be a long one. Thanks for sticking around if you did. If you didn't want to see you around anyways. So I'm going to get the sprinkler out, get it hooked up, and maybe go down the bottom garden and start planting down there. We got a fair bit of stuff we need to go in down that garden too, but I don't know if I'll get anything in it yet today or not, but we'll try. Join me again. Take care and God bless.
See ya.
And now we are officially done with the garden for this time. Sprinklers are running, getting everything watered in good. You've seen us water in the radish and carrot beds. You see me miss the other beds a couple times just to get the leaves cool so it didn't overheat in the heat when we was working in here. And we're gonna let the sprinkler run for 10-15 minutes and see how she works.